Hello guys, this is Rick Patterson with the Handyman Toolbox. Hope everything's well with you today. For me, it's not. I had to turn the water off in my house. I discovered I have a water leak in the bathroom. So I've had to turn the water off, shut down for the day. And you know, the rule is anytime that you deal with plumbing, you're going to open up a can of worms. Well, let's go fishing. Let's make the best of this. So I want to get started here real quickly and talk to you about what I've done so far. On the other side of this wall, which you can see right here, that I have my bathroom, okay? And the toilet water supply is right here, and I'm in the stairwell of my basement. Now, fortunately, there's nothing in the stairwell, so I cut out the wall here to expose where I could get to the repair site. Now, I'm going to flip this around a little bit and show you more details about this. Okay, so I've cut this out, and I had to take the board out that was supporting this right here. This was the screws that was screwed into when the house was built. The issue here is this was replaced. This is copper. This was replaced here at some point in time, the last 30 years or so. And the other side, this pipe that feeds into the bathroom is galvanized pipe. Now, why they did that, I don't know. But it was probably before the invention of shark bites, because this joint right here is sweated on, soldered, okay? Now, what I'm going to have to do is I've got this much room to work with. I need to replace this connection here and all the way into the bathroom. So I'm going to replace all of that there. I'll show you a scene of what it looks like on the other side. But for right now, my situation is I only have probably about 4 inches to work with. And I don't like that. So I'm going to go up underneath this. Let me show you what's underneath here. So my apologies for the lighting, but this is what I have to work with. So I've got a drain line here, cast iron drain line. And then I've got all the way from this joint to here. So I'm going to put in a slip joint, a half-inch slip joint, and make my connections from down here instead, and then go back up top and do that. So I'm going to make my cut right here to start. Okay, so here are some items that you're going to need. I'm going to walk you through all of these and tell you what these are all about. All right, first off, we're going to be using the Husky Cutter, and this is for 1/2 inch. And I'll put all of these items in the description down below. But this is for cutting your copper pipe, for cutting your PVC PEX pipe. You're going to be using a cutter like so, and kind of give you what that looks like. Then you want the PEX itself. Now this is, you see here, it's by Shark Bite, and this is 1/2 inch PEX. To make my right angles, I'm using a 1/2 by 1/2 Shark Bite as well. And then once I get into the bathroom itself for the toilet, this is a 1/2 inch by 3/8 OD straight turn, and it's a 1/4 turn. So I'll show you more about this once we get inside to attach this. Then an essential for using any shark bite. This is a 1/2 inch clip, and this is to release the grip on the shark bite itself off the pipe, whether you're using copper or PEX. And then the same thing, but more in kind of a handheld deal where you can just squeeze it like so. I kind of like this when I can use it. It's just better for me, but if I get into a pinch, I'll use this here. You may need this. I might not need this in this demo, but these are kind of cool. This is a 1/2 inch slip joint, and so you have like all of this room right here to move your pipe up or down or whatever. This is the stop right where my thumb is. That's the stop part to it. So you would set it down on top of the pipe and then make your extension or whatever going up here. So that's kind of nice to have. So guys, this is what's in the details as far as the materials that you're going to need for this project. All right, so let's talk about some tools here. One of the neatest ones I've found so far is made by Husky, and this is a 1/2 inch. Let me see if I can show you. It's a 1/2 inch, and it even tells you what direction to turn it, so you can cut 1/2 inch copper pipe. That's what I'm going to do here. Now, just for simplicity's sake and just for demonstration, because the light's a little bit better here, I'm going to, now remember, we're going to have to turn this to cut it. We're going to turn it clockwise. So I just slip it in until it clicks, and then I just start turning this clockwise until it snaps. So I'm not going to do this right here on this above. I'm going to do it down below this portion here and make my cut there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Remember, turn it clockwise. The cool thing is, as you turn it, it gets tighter and tighter and tighter. Now, I'm probably going to have a little bit of water in here, and that's okay. I'm just going to keep turning it, and it's already getting tight as we go. It doesn't take that many turns for it to cut. And I was fortunate to have enough room to get this in here. I'll tell you what, if you want to build up your muscles in your forearm, do this all day. All right, it's getting tighter and tighter, and I can tell it's doing its job. In a second, it'll snap. There it is. Now, see, I've got water coming in. So I'm going to grab a towel real quick and see if I can catch some of the moisture, some of the water coming out. Keep turning. There it is. All right, if it does leak, just put down what you need to in order to catch most of that water. But there it is. It's cut, and that disconnected it. So I'm fortunate there. So I'll go on the inside, disconnect that pipe and the fittings inside, and then just pull this straight on out. All right, now what I'm going to do is go down below and do the same thing. I'm going to cut down and then put in my my extensions or whatever I need to do to fix this. So I'll walk you through that step. All right, so underneath, there wasn't enough room to really make the connections and everything I needed to. So I'm going to take this a little bit further here and go directly here. Remember, we're going to turn this clockwise. So man, I just really love this cutter here. So it gives me a little bit more room to work with. So I'm going to keep turning this here. And as you can tell, here comes the water and there's the brake. Now, just got to get this out. Okay, so what you have to do is mark your pipe at least 1 inch. So that way you'll know where it stopped. So kind of let me show you here. You see where this goes in right here. Kind of turn it upside down a little bit and give you a better shot. But when that black line disappears, you know you've reached your mark. Anything shy of that, you got to keep pushing. So I'm going to go ahead and attach that now. Now, give you an idea, when you're working with PEX, you do want to keep the plastic ring in there. So I'm going to use PEX on one end and copper on the other. So this one I'm going to take out And you can take this out with a pair of needle nose pliers. Just grab the inside there and just pull it out. It'll come straight on out. Okay, as you can tell here, I just inserted this, and you see the black line there, and I pulled out the insert for this to go up onto the copper pipe like this. So I'm going to have to put this down, this phone down that I'm recording on. Maybe that's stationary. I'm just going to give it a shove. Okay, so the nice thing is, working with PEX, it bends a little bit. So I'm not straight up and down, as you can tell. I'm off at an angle, which is okay because it bends. So this is in there seated well, and this is there seated well, and now I'm ready to work on the upside of this part. Okay, so for the next part here inside the bathroom, I have my water supply line to the toilet, and then I've got the connection here. This is 3/8. This matches this is 3/8. And this end is 1/2 inch. That matches the PEX. SharkBite PEX is 3/8. So the two items I want to introduce to you, number one is the pipe thread. This is standard. You could see this at a lot of your big box stores. It's T+2, and it's the pipe thread sealant. And then something that I always do, I use the combination of the two of these. And this is this is actually a premium heavy duty thread seal tape. Now guys, I use this on my fittings, all of my fittings here, on everything. I've been doing this for 44 years. I have never had a leak. When I did a shortcut, I would either use the tape or the sealant, and inevitably I'd have to go back and redo it. So I decided at one point early on to go ahead and use the two of these. This right here actually fits up against the wall, and that's what your pipe will go through. All right, so let's talk about a couple of things here. First off, this is a compression fitting, so you don't need this at all. So I'm going to disconnect this, and so you see on the inside, it's got the threads here, nothing inside. And what this does now, give you a close-up, this is the rubber seal inside, and this is a compression fitting. So when you match the two of this here and this here, when it goes inside, that rubber seal will seal around right here at the edge. But I want to seal the threads. I don't want any water leaks at all. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, so this is what it should look like after you put the tape on and the sealant on first. Pull it pretty tight, and one little trick of the trade is when you're using tape on an edge like this, a small fitting, go ahead and splice it where you're just working with the thin piece rather than what comes off the roll. Otherwise, you're going to have a lot of waste on the inside, and it probably won't fit as well. So now we're ready to make the connection here. All right, one thing you want to remember is this little plastic gasket inside there. That goes, you keep that in there whenever you're using the SharkBite here, the SharkBite PEX, because this right here will go inside here. Okay? So if you're using copper or anything else, you don't want to keep that in there, so just grab a pair of needle nose pliers and pull that out. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Now when fastening, I used a pretty gross looking pair of channel locks. These are like pliers. They're a type of pliers, but they're at an angle, if you see, rather than straight on. So you get a better grip working in tight places. And so I've already tightened the fitting on here. The cutoff valve is what we're calling it. And again, this is a 1/4 turn cutoff valve. So I'll talk more about that. Now what we're ready to do, and I'm going to do this all the way backward from a regular install. Usually I come out of the wall and with my pipe and then do everything. But because I'm using PEX and working in the wall, I'm going to do it a little bit different. So next what we're going to do is put on this item right here, and go ahead and push that all the way up. Then I'm going to put the stop on. Now guys, I'm doing it backwards, okay, for right now, because when I flip it around, it'll all fit into the hole. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. So I've got this ready to go. Let's see if I can keep you guys in the center of this action here. I'm going to go ahead and pull everything. And so see, when it stops right here, when I pull it and get everything snug, then it'll be snug against the wall when I finish. All right, let's go on the other side of the wall. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I've already made my mark. I'll kind of show you why and how I did that. This is my joint that I'm going to use. So I want the stop to come right about there. So I'm going to make my cut here, right there at the line, and then that stop will come and sit down further, and that'll come in alignment with this tube coming out of the wall from the cutoff valve in the bathroom. All right, so I'm going to make that cut now. There we go. And now I've already marked on the inside, so I'll go back in the bathroom, make that cut, put it back in here, put the connection on with the right angled 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch connection. Okay, so you see I've made my mark right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that, and then I'll stick it back through the wall and then make my connection there. Okay guys, so here's a visual here. I went ahead and marked the distance that I want to make sure at least I get to that point. This is pretty, I'm pushing down, so this is not going to go anywhere. The cool thing about this now is once that's fit on, you just take your thumb, you can do this one-handed, and it's on now, so it's well seated. So now I go back inside and fix everything up on the inside, and we're ready to go. I'll probably, because I'm a perfectionist, I'll probably put some sort of bracing under here, but it's going to have very, very little movement, and there's no reason for it to stand in the way or be knocked or anything, because the edge of the wall is right here and the toilet is right there, so there's nothing that comes in between here. Otherwise I would be concerned. So I'm just going to go back inside, fix this plate up against the wall, shore this up a little bit here. There are some things that you can do. I'll probably put some wood behind here to brace this up a little bit, and maybe some wood in here, and then just take my original piece that I cut off, put this back on, secure it to the stud, tape, mud, and paint it, and I'm good to go. Okay, so the last step I have here is to place this pipe, what I call a pipe holder. It's probably another technical word for it, but I'm going to wrap this around the back side of this and then screw this into the board, which goes through the wall, and we'll be finished there, and that'll hold everything together. Okay, so we've got the water back on. One little trick here in closing, put a piece of paper towel or tissue underneath the waterworks and keep it there for about 24 hours. If you see any leaks, then you've got to go back and adjust or fix or repair whatever needs to be done there. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Rick Patterson again with the Handyman Toolbox. See you next time.